Good morning, everyone. We will now begin the morning service of the Miroku Association headquarters, asking God and Meishu-sama to protect and bless us as we participate today in the construction of paradise on earth. Amatsu-Norito and Miroku Prayer, please stand. Taka ni kamuzumarimasu. Kamurogi kamurami no mikoto mochite. Sumeni oya kamu izanagi no mikoto. Tsukushi no himuka no tachi hana no. Odo no awagi harami. Misogi harai tamo utoki. Seru harai dono o kamitachi moro moro no magagoto tsumi kegare o harai tamae kiyome tamae tomao sukoto no yoshi o amatsu kami Yorozu no kami tachi tomo ni ame no uchikoma no mimi furita dete kiko shimese to kashikomi mo maosu. Miroku o mikami mamori tamae saki hae tamae. Miroku o mikami mamori tamae Oshie mi oyanushi no kami mamori tamae saki hae tamae Oshie mi oyanushi no kami mamori tamae saki hae tamae Kannagara tamachi haemase. Kannagara tamachi haemase. Great God of light, creator and giver of all life, in accordance with your divine will, the long age of night draws to an end. Your radiant divine light, shining ever more brilliantly, awakens the dawn of the glorious age of light, a time long awaited by all humanity. We thank you for guiding us to your divine plan and for the privilege of channeling and receiving Johrei. May our spirits and bodies be illuminated and purified as we live your truths given Sama. Make us pure and effective instruments of your divine light, so that we may serve you and all those with whom we come in contact. May paradise on earth be realized, with health, peace, and prosperity, a reality in our lives. Great God of light, bless and protect us. Radiate our souls with your divine light, so that we may truly become instruments of your great plan. Please be seated. We will now do Johrei. Johrei is now concluded. We will now listen to a reading from Meishu-sama's teaching. A way to live. Priceless are those who always think of the welfare of others and pray for all the world. Those who forget their own interests and uphold what is right and just are the strongest, bravest people in the world. Narrow minded are those who boast and make a great show of their merits and achievements. Since my early years, I have loved to make others happy, so much so that it has become almost my favorite pastime. My thoughts are always centered on how I can help others to become truly happy. I believe one of the things that helps me most in being able to enjoy the happiness I feel today is this mental attitude. For this reason, I continue to say and write, unless we make others happy, we ourselves can never become truly happy. I am sure that the greatest goal of our mission, the realization of paradise on earth, can be attained when this way of thinking has spread and is shared by all the people on earth.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining this morning service of the Miroku Association headquarters. We have now one day to our great activity called One Day in Paradise, which will be tomorrow, September 11th at 3 p.m. I'm looking forward for your presence. We'll have the chance to give and receive Johrei. Mark the 20th year since the collapse of the Twin Towers. We have the opportunity to channel and receive Johrei, and while doing so, project our thoughts and prayers for the victims of not just the World Trade Center, but to the victims in many other locations affected by this man-made disaster. I would like also to encourage you to visualize, while participating in this activity, that a prototype of paradise in North America is not just a dream. It is within our reach, and it will be manifested much sooner than we can anticipate. Meishu-sama wrote, I wish to invite all those who are suffering to this paradise. Come and stay, even if for a little while. It is Meishu-sama's wish that a sacred grounds would be established in North American soil. He even mentioned that we will include an art museum with the funds donated by its people. If you have been a member for some years here in the United States and Canada, you have heard about this subject. However, so far, nothing enduring has been materialized in this regard. I personally don't know if now is that time, but what I know and believe is that our one day in paradise tomorrow is our very opportunity to begin manifesting what already exists in the spiritual realm, a sacred grounds in North America. So let us channel and receive Johrei, being conscious that we, as pioneers of salvation, cornerstone for the foundation of Meishu-sama's vision for North America. I will participate in the activity and would love to have your presence to help us create the energy that will accelerate the materialization of a beautiful, loving, and yet powerful site for the spiritual growth of us members, friends of Johrei, as well as all of our ancestors. And this morning, I would like also to share a faith experience. This is from Liane Paes. She's from the Ipanema Johrei Center. Liani has been a Johrei member for less than 2 years and gives service at the Ipanema Johrei Center, Rio de Janeiro. She would like to share her faith experience on how it was possible to change her fate and her inner self through dedications and serving the art and beauty column of salvation. She began studying music at the age of 11 and became a bachelor in playing cello in 2017. While still in college, she began teaching music, initially taught private lessons and later in social projects. She even played in some concerts with temporary contracts. However, she always dreamed of joining a professional orchestra. She took several tests, but didn't pass. Every time this happened, she felt sad, with low self esteem, and questioned her ability as a musician, believing that she was not capable of achieving this goal. She thought she was inferior to others. In 2019, she opened her music school and continued teaching at a nonprofit organization. With the arrival of the COVID-19 pandemic and the cancellation of classroom classes, she lost many students, which brought her emotional and financial suffering. Once our services were streamed online, her minister asked her to record a song to be performed at the Joy Center's monthly service in April. She felt great joy and realized that Meishu-sama was giving life to her mission and using her to bring beauty to people at a time when they were experiencing so much distress. She prepared the material, permeating it with tons of love and gratitude. Shortly after the video was shown, she received calls from new and former students requesting music lessons in surprising numbers. In this way, she rebalanced herself financially and calmed down. Through this dedication, she gained more conviction in her faith and was able to experience, for the first time, the strength of the service offered with love and sincerity. In October, a new purification process began for her. She got involved in a conflict situation at the institution where she worked, which forced her resignation. She became very emotionally shaken. She experienced anxiety attacks and became afraid to leave her house. Furthermore, the successive failures in the competitions she applied for, like the orchestras and the suspension of performances, made the love and enthusiasm for music to cool down inside her. She couldn't find the motivation she used to have and didn't work with the same joy, which ended up reflecting in the relationship with her students. In the same period, the end of a 5-year romantic relationship further aggravated her condition. She was increasingly sad and feeling helpless. However, instead of staying at home whining, she went to church to strengthen herself. She talked to her minister and talked about her purification. The minister guided her to intensify her dedications and surrender her suffering over to God and Meishu-sama, emphasizing that when the time was right, everything would be resolved. She began going to the Johrei Center almost every day to channel Johrei, do mitama migaki, which is the dedication of cleaning our surroundings as a soul polishing, and serve wherever were needed. With that, she got stronger, felt lighter, appreciated and understood better the divine will behind the situations. In early January of this year, 2021, she was going to be selected for a master's degree in Neo-Latin studies, an area outside her comfort zone, with only the period between Christmas and New Year to prepare herself. She still didn't know in person the sacred grounds of Guadapiranga, and on the eve of the first service of the year 2021, she was allowed to pilgrimage to this special place, which at that time was partially open to the public. The emotion she experienced gave her an incredible energy, and the next day she took the test she mentioned, feeling refreshed. A few days later, She was in the Johrei Center dedicating when she received the news that she had been approved in the master's program. And in mid-February, the result came out. She got the first place. It was a great achievement for her. In April, the head of the center's youth group invited her to participate in a special training that consisted of serving full-time for 10 days at the Johrei Center. She didn't think she could handle such a long period of dedication. However, seeking to grow in faith and achieve a definite change both in her professional and personal arenas, she decided to challenge herself and accepted the mission. She stayed in the church from 8:30 a.m. till 7 o'clock in the evening. During this period, she channeled and received an average of 10 Johrei, prayed, devoted to cleaning, read and transcribed teachings of Meishu-sama, among other activities. It was a challenging moment in which she had the opportunity to improve on several points: her patience, perception, self-confidence. She reached the 10th day of training completely different from what she was before surrendering herself to God. She discovered a Liana she didn't know, with more strength and courage to face the adversities of everyday life. A month later, her minister asked about her goals for 2021, and she replied that she would like to dedicate herself more to the cello and join an orchestra. The following week, unexpectedly, she received a notice for a competition and decided to delve in her studies to take the test. A few days before the test, the president of our church in Brazil visited her Johrei Center, and she was able to make a presentation on the day of the event. It was a very special moment when she concluded that being a musician is much more than just playing an instrument. It is bring light and hope to people's hearts. She realized her love for music was reborn right there. She spent 4 days at the sacred grounds between rehearsals and recordings. These were sublime moments. Participating in a concert at the sacred grounds was an experience unlike anything she had known before. When she thought that nothing so wonderful could happen anymore, she received the news that she had passed the competition to join a professional orchestra in another state. Her dream had finally come true. She ended up not joining this orchestra, though felt that it would not be viable due to the distance and her professional commitments in Rio de Janeiro. However, being approved was very important to consolidate her self-confidence, believing her potential, and that she is capable, as much as anyone else, of achieving great goals. She believed that this was only possible due to the spiritual growth and maturation she acquired through her dedications in the divine work and serving in the column of art and beauty. She is currently in her master's, preparing for other competitions and teaching music. Liani is very thankful to God and Meishu-sama for allowing her to elevate her spirit as well as that of her ancestors. Her goal is to continue serving the divine work, bringing happiness to others through music, and connecting them to God through the art and beauty column of salvation. It was a very nice experience from Liani. I want to thank you for listening to these words this morning. Wish you a wonderful day. Thank you very much.
This brings to a conclusion of our morning service. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and have a blessed day.